2X8 control.
2X8.
Respond on a missing child at 1314 Angel Street. See the woman.
10-4, 10-17.
1702.
Hi, I'm the one who called.
Okay, you have a child missing.
My son is missing.
Okay.
He's autistic. He can't
okay.
speak very well, and I'm just worried sick about him.
Okay, what's your son's name?
His name is Steven.
And how long has he been missing for?
He's been missing for about a half an hour.
Okay,
I've looked everywhere. I can't find him.
all right. You've searched your own house.
I have, and I've run up and down the street. I just don't know where he is.
Okay, I've got some other officers coming. We're going to start circulating the area and see if we can't find him. Have you checked with his friends?
He doesn't have any
He
friends.
doesn't have any friends?
No.
Are you Heidi?
Yes.
Officer Moss, the police department. Did you call us?
Hi, yes, I did. There's a young man back here that wandered back here. I don't know who he is, and I asked him his name, and he won't answer me, so I'm worried about him.
Okay, we have actually someone that's missing, and so we're looking for him. I'll go down and see what I can do. Thank you for calling. Steven! Steven! Hey, no! Steve, can you come back away from the water? Take a seat right there, okay? Right there on the step. There you go. We just want to make sure you're safe, Steve. Your mom's worried about you. She called us. I'm a police officer, and I'm just here to make sure that you're okay.
Thank you so much. I really can't thank you enough.
Oh, that's no problem. That's what we're here for, is to help. Maybe I could just offer a few suggestions for in case this happens in the future. One is that with his special needs, he could probably get a bracelet or some sort of necklace or something.
Okay.
A medical ID that would explain what his needs are. If he could carry some identification also, in case, he's found out and about. And then if you could contact our dispatch and let them know of his needs, they can flag the address, and we can put emergency contact information in there in case for some reason we can't get a hold of you. And then just let your friends and neighbors know what's going on so that they can help out also with this.
Oh, great ideas. Thank you very much.
You bet. Good luck.
At some point, most of us have or will be called to a situation that involves a person with autism. Autism is one of the fastest growing developmental disabilities in our country. Our ability to recognize and understand autism may provide a safer resolution to a call for service.
Autism is a neurologic disorder, a developmental disorder, that affects an individual's ability to communicate effectively, to interact and socialize appropriately, and they also have repetitive behaviors, obsessions, perseverations.
Recognizing characteristics of autism can be difficult. Generally, there are no distinguishing features. What you can look for are certain cues and gestures. Watch for the person's body to rock or flapping motion. Avoidance of eye contact is another indicator. Some people with autism will repeat what you say. This is called echolalia.
What's your name?
Name.
Do you know where you live?
Where you live. Where you live.
Do you have a phone number?
Have phone number. Have phone number.
Many people with autism may have limited or no verbal skills.
Hi, young man. How are you? Are you okay? Are you lost? Hey, do you have a bracelet here?
Do not interpret the person's failure to respond to orders or questions as a lack of cooperation or a reason for increased force. When you arrive at a call for service and suspect the person may have autism, be patient and give them space.
Yes, this is Jill from the Quickie Mart. There's a man in my store that's acting strangely. He's walking around opening up items and eating them and putting them back on the counter. He's making me very nervous. Yeah, I'll stay on the line. Hi, officer. That man over there, he keeps opening up packages and eating food and then putting it back on the counter. He hasn't paid for anything.
Okay, we'll talk to him.
Hey, you can't eat that. Put the chips down, sir. Put everything in your hands down on the ground. Drop everything.
But these are my chips!
Drop them down!
Put them down.
These are my chips!
Drop down.
Put the chips down.
Put them down.
My chips. They're my chips.
Hey, Nick.
My chips.
I think you might be autistic.
If a person exhibits cues or gestures of autism, it is possible that they may be unable to comply with your commands until communication is established. If safe to do so, slow things down. Be prepared to utilize needed force, but attempt to communicate further before escalating.
Okay, Freddie, do you live around here?
Yes, I live over down that way, down that street.
Do you know what the address is?
It's 3. I don't know.
Be patient and give them space. Maintain a calm demeanor and voice. Reassure the person that you are there to help and keep them safe. Use simple sentences. Ask questions, one at a time. Give plenty of time for the person to process the information or question and respond. Avoid any quick movements and loud noises. In fact, minimizing any form of sensory overload will be in everyone's best interest. Please keep in mind that they may not recognize the uniform and your authority. Once the situation is controlled, then a disposition could be decided, whether that be a citation would be issued, the person transported to another location, or the person being released. However, remember that as in all situations, officer safety is paramount.
Lost at jail 12.
Go ahead.
We have an individual, it's a possible domestic violence situation on River Road, 2400 North. Will be 10-6477 November Kilo Lima.
Copy.
What's going on?
Look, my kid is autistic, and
Okay.
sometimes he has these little meltdowns, and I can't control him. He just starts hitting things. He pulls on my hair. He grabs me by the shirt, and he shakes me like this.
All right.
And I don't know what to do with him.
Okay.
And then you
Well,
pull
we're
me
here to
over, and he's just more upset than anything. And I don't know what to do with him. And, this
Okay.
doesn't happen all the time, but when it
All
does,
right. What's his
what
name?
am I supposed to do? His name is Austin.
His name's Austin.
His name is Austin. He's 14.
Okay.
And Austin, get back in the car.
Most people with autism have no fear of danger and can become upset and aggressive. In the event that you do need to go hands-on, be aware that the upper trunk muscles of a person with autism may be underdeveloped.
Austin, we're here to help you. Come on.
Once the person's actions are controlled, position them so their breathing is least restricted.
So he's safe. It's okay, Austin. Can you get up on
If there are bystanders, ask if anyone knows the person or the person's family. Look for a medic alert bracelet, necklace, or ID tag. Be sure to note autism in your initial report.
A parent of a child with autism has an uphill battle at being able to manage their child's needs and keeping that connection. And I'm so amazed day after day as I work with parents and how loving and dedicated they are to their child, and they are just the #1 advocate for their child, even though they go through so much every day because of their child.
According to the Centers for Disease Control, autism affects as many as 1 in every 150 children in the United States. Therefore, it is estimated that 1.5 million Americans may be affected with autism. Also, government statistics suggest the rate of autism is rising 10 to 17% annually. Some of your fellow officers are parents of children with autism.
When he was younger, we could kind of tell something was up with him. We weren't sure what it was, and then when he was in 2nd grade, we had the doctors tested him, and he was diagnosed with autism. With a lot of disabilities, you can see it. You can see it off the get-go, or they're, like if they're blind or deaf or something like that, there's some definite impairment. And with autistic children, every child varies on the degree of autism, and it's not apparent at all. And so you'd have to actually get to know the person, even if it's just for a few minutes before you kind of knew what you were dealing with.
Travis is quite repetitive in some of the things that he does. With some of his autistic behaviors, does the same thing over and over. Plus, he can be a little aggressive. So, come here, please. Come here, please.
I'm a teacher of Walron.
He can be aggressive, and as you can see, he's almost twice my size. So, and he has a little brother who is smaller than him, so it can present a problem at times.
Not a problem.
With Travis, he doesn't understand rules all the time or directions, so that's why it's important for people, I guess, to try to understand.
I understand that. I
This
understand.
training that we're trying to do with police officers, it's, we're accustomed to people doing what we tell them to. How it affects your family life, how it affects everything, it affects it drastically.
My son is 5 years old, just started kindergarten. We didn't find out or notice until he was probably around 3 years old that there was something different about him. When we found out that he was autistic, it came as a bit of a surprise. What we quickly began to realize about my son and other people who have children who are autistic is that those children, their actions are often misinterpreted. And from a law enforcement perspective, when I encounter someone who acts aggressive towards me or begins to touch or grab or feel at me, immediately it sets off in me a trigger to arrest that person, to take them into custody because something is wrong. It is my hope, knowing what it's like to have an autistic child, that law enforcement nationwide will realize or start to identify these habits in children and adults, that when someone comes up to you as being nonverbal but maybe doesn't appear to be intoxicated, high or other, that you open your mind to think, is there some type of special need with this child or this adult? Is that why they're touching at my hair or poking at my shirt? I know from a situation that I had as a deputy where we had to take an autistic gentleman into custody who was at the age of 19, that none of us had encountered this situation before. And had I known what I know now about autistic children, we would have dealt with that differently. Not that we dealt with it wrong, but differently. But being the parent of an autistic child, knowing the great love that children with autism have, and that's what you'll find with autistic children, is that they're more full of love and life than most people you ever meet, and to treat them kindly.